remember why you started, as cliche that is. Remember why you started. People do watch you. People, even if it's like 5 comments you get, right? There's still people out there watching, and there's silent watchers. People that aren't going to engage with you, but they still love your content. They still like, you know, just because they don't share it, or like, say when people buy my merch, right? I expect people to like post about it, you know what I mean? And then I would get sad. I'd be like, oh my God, maybe they didn't like it. Like, oh my God, they didn't like what I sent them. Or that's like, is it not good? Like, I know it's good quality, but then I'm like, no, Veronica, like I don't post everything that I get. Like when I buy something, I don't post it on my story. So but I still love it. Mate, like I have to remember that not everyone is they don't have to engage with you to love you. And people are waiting. People message you and they're always like, you know, they notice when you're gone. That's what it is.
Okay, so Veronica, welcome to the Creator's Canvas. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. So I would love to take this back to the beginning, you know, kind of when I was looking into you and, you know, your content and like going all the way back into the time machine. You know, your journey started, you know, kind of in early 2020. And what was your headspace like during that time? And what was kind of the inception of you becoming a content creator?
Well, I've been wanting to do this since I was like in year 7. Since I watched my favorite YouTubers and I knew that I could do it, I was like, damn, like I want to be able to do this. I knew one day I would make it. I just didn't know when. I kept trying on so many different platforms for years. And everyone's like, you know, bro, give up. And I was like, no, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And 2020 was the year it happened. Funnily enough, actually, I started to grow a platform, like a following, on Instagram first, because I was talking shit about the people that do TikTok. now I'm big on TikTok. But I still speak shit about it. It's funny.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think that ability to make fun of ourselves is like, you know, peak humor. So I appreciate that you can do that.
For sure. I feel like that's actually where my comedy comes from. Like it's my whole platform, ever since I had social media from the start, it's all just self-deprecating and just people just love it. They love to see you belittle yourself. That's where they find the humor. I love to see broken people.
Seeing broken people, you know, I find helps people do 2 things. One, they're like, okay, I'm not alone. And also I can think about my problems a little bit less because I'm seeing this person's problems, which is funny.
Yeah.
Veronica, so, you know, a couple of things you touched upon were A, you know, always wanting to be a content creator, and B, having that resilience to stick through. Where does that resilience come from for you? Because this content creation journey is a grind, I'm sure, as you know, you've been in it for so long, and it can be so easy to quit or give up or become discouraged. So for you, where did that resilience come from?
My passion for it. Honestly, if you love something so much and you want it that badly, you will not stop. You will not understand the amount of obstacles that are thrown at me till this day. And I'm like, no, like this is made for me. I know it's made for me. And you just have to work hard to get through it. Like I've wanted this for so many years that now that I finally have this platform, I'm like, now I can finally do all the things that I've ever dreamed of doing.
I completely agree. And it's beautiful to have clarity in knowing, you know, what you want. And have you always had that? Obviously, you've had it for quite a long time, as you mentioned. But if I think about like, you know, baby Veronica and like teenage Veronica and, you know, high school Veronica, like, has that been something that you've always had clarity on?
No, baby Veronica was always, I have a medical condition where I was always in hospital. So I wanted to become a children's doctor at one stage. And I was really adamant on it. I was like, damn, like these doctors have helped me for years. Like I want to be able to give back and help people. But my school marks said otherwise. I was not going to become a doctor. And then I wanted to be a physio because like I'm really into like, you know, like the health and fitness side of stuff. But also I wanted to do content creation at the same time. But, you know, in our culture and with my family, it's not a career. So that was very hard because like I've always wanted something that my family, my community, and our culture as a whole just don't see it as something that you should be pursuing. There's no money. What happens if social media ends? Like all these things, what if, and it's not your typical it's not your typical route that your parents want you to go down. But I was adamant. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm doing this. I am doing it, and just watch. Even till now, when 2020, when my TikTok popped off and I was about to say I left my job. I didn't leave. I got made redundant because of COVID. ever since then, and I started, like I released merch and I come out with all these shows. It took a while for like my family to be like, okay,
yes,
this is something that like, she can actually make it somewhere. At the beginning, they're like, bro, what are you doing? Go like find another job. Like, what do you mean selling merch? Merch what? Who's even watching you come to your show? I don't understand.
It's funny you say that because I know you're Middle Eastern and I'm Asian, and I think we grew up with parents with like very similar ideals, like lawyer, doctor, engineer, and not fitting in that path. We're a little bit of a disappointment in the beginning, and then it's like they start to see us on this content creation journey and they like don't really quite understand it. Like I remember like a month and a half ago, like scored like my biggest brand deal ever. And, my mom wanted to take me out. And it was funny because whenever we were at dinner, she was like, hey, like, I don't even know what we're celebrating, but like, I know it was a big milestone for you. And just, wanted to say congratulations. How long did it take for your parents to kind of fully understand of like what this whole social media beast is? And, how are they in terms of, supporting you now?
I started in 2020. So maybe about 2 years. 2 years because COVID went for 2 years. That was a period of COVID. And I think it took them 2 years to realize, all right, like this girl's actually very passionate about what she's doing. And I think when they started to see that I could make some sort of business out of it as well. And like I was, at the start, they weren't that supportive. Like they were supportive of me making videos. Obviously, they're like, haha, like she's making us laugh, like funny, cool. But then they weren't supportive of me not finding a job and trying to make what I like my passion into a career for myself. Now they love it. Now they're like, Veronica, like where do you want to go for your shows? Or like, what food are we eating today with your promotions? they're my biggest supporters. My mum walks around, she's like, it's my daughter, yeah.
Hey. I love that. They seem like they're fully enjoying the perks of your hard work, which I think is an incredible thing to bring people onto our journey, which I think is really cool.
It had its stereotype. It had like this at the start. When I say the start, I mean 2020, because that's the start of when everyone kind of was locked into their houses and content creation, I feel, wasn't really at its peak then. It was like you really have your big Instagrams, your big TikTokers, your OG people, right?
Yeah.
And 2020 is the year that people were slowly coming onto the platform, and there was still that stereotype of, oh my God, no, it's for kids. It's for kids. No. As if you're on the app, you have to dance. Yeah. And like in Australia, I would say like me and a bunch of other people, like we were part of like that OG group of Middle Eastern creators, because like they were the ones with, like, from my culture that had that strong stereotype that would kind of almost bully you for doing it. You know what I mean? Yes. And now they're the people that are like, hey, can you promote my products?
Yeah, I completely agree. I work at, do you guys have WeWorks in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I work out of a WeWork, and it's a pretty old demographic, and it's like filled with a lot of people in like traditional fields like real estate, like finance, and like a lot of these people in like their 50s and 60s. And like when I tell them, like the work I do, they're like now starting to open their mind to kind of like the possibilities of like what it even entails, because they grew up in a generation where it's like, okay, to make money, you work your 9 to 5, you invest in your 401k, the stock market, real estate. These a lot of like these traditional ways of how they grew up, and now it's like they're having to expand their mind too. I had a like consulting session with like this like 60-year-old like financial advisor here at the WeWork just for fun. I was like, hey, like I think there's an opportunity for you here. So one thing that is very evident in your content and shows through, and even in our conversation now, is obviously your culture, and being Middle Eastern is very important to you, and representation is very important in storytelling. How do you feel like you handle that responsibility, and why is it so important to you?
I feel like my content also makes people feel like they're not alone and relatable. It's all about being relatable, because I speak what people think. And I feel like through that, like so many people message me, they're like, oh my God, you like your parents do the same, or like you do the same. Like, oh my gosh, I thought we were the only one. I thought my family only did this. And I just want people to realize that just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean everyone else is not like you're saying your Asian background, right? It's the same thing. Everyone relates to my video. So many different cultures, but obviously I'll get cancelled if I say that. So I just say, but like so many people go through the same thing, and I feel like it's a space where people feel comfortable. Like they watch my videos, they're like, oh my God, same. Like, yeah, my mom treats me like that. Or like, and I think it just brings light to traumatic situations of growing up with our generation of parents. now there's gentle parenting. Back then there was no gentle parenting.
Yeah, I mean, I tease my mom all the time. I would be like, if a parent did what you did when I was younger, they would get like canceled right now. Like, it's so funny.
If you did what they did back then, we would be taken to the government. We would be like those kids that were taken away.
literally it's so funny because I think about that a lot, but it's like, okay, like we actually turned out okay, you know, so it's like funny how that works.
Discipline.
So yeah, exactly, discipline. One thing you mentioned is, you know, your content has this ability to be relatable and, you know, help people feel seen, because they're like, oh, like I thought I was the only one who experienced that or felt that. So flipping it, is that something that you felt a little lonely about growing up, of like, okay, like are other people experiencing these same type of things or having these same type of emotions?
No, I've just always been that person on different platforms. Like when I was growing up on the different platforms I was trying to make it, I would create like rant videos and like those relatable videos. Like I basically created what I do now, but like on those Facebook days and all of that. So since day one, like I've just had that personality where I speak what people are thinking, and it wasn't. I find fun in it. Like I laugh about it. I love. I love that self-deprecating content. It makes me laugh. Like it's just bringing light to situations where people think that. I guess it's more so. How do I even say this? But I just like to create this sort of content because people relate to it, and I don't know. I just like it. I don't know where I was going with that.
Liking the content that you make, it, I think, is a great place, you know, to go with that. I think as a content creator, it's such an important piece to not get burnt out. And one of the best ways you can do that is like literally enjoy what you're making, which I think you seem to have found, you know, that for quite a while now, you know, which I think is incredible. So
I definitely do burn out though. I feel like every creator,
of course,
goes through those periods.
Of course.
And it's scary because you're like, you don't know if you're going to make a comeback out of it.
Yes, very scary. So what has been a rough story or rough season of burnout for you, and what do you feel like that came from, and how did you get out of it?
Well, at one stage I was creating, like I had a series going on, and then even though people were engaging with it, you just suddenly feel like you have no more video ideas left. Like I don't know what, like you just randomly feel like, okay, what do people want to see? Like I have a list of all these videos like I can make in my notes.
Yeah.
But you just kind of, I don't know, is it self-pity or something like that? You start to feel sorry for yourself, and you get in the stage where you're like, do people even like me? Do people even like my content? Like, I don't know, like I'm not getting enough views. Yeah. And then you start to like dwell on it, and then you put yourself into that mindset, and it doesn't make you want to film content. Like for me, if I'm not in a mood to film, I can't film. You can see it. No one can force me to be like, okay, go and be funny in front of a camera. I need to feel it. And I used to write lists of in my notes of all these video ideas. I thought, okay, cool, like I'll quickly write it down, I'll come back to it. Never in my life have I been able to refilm those videos, because it has to be, for me, I'm most passionate when I think of it. When I think of it, I have to do it then and there. Otherwise, I can't just do it later. I won't have the same like passion to film for it and like energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure you've experienced that, like that vigor, and that you can actually feel through the video. I think that's the peak of a content creator, is like the ability to do that, because it's like, how else can we connect virtually, you know, with our audience? And so in those moments where it's like cycle of like self-doubt and like, you know, self-pity and, you know, these thoughts that all content creators go through, is like, you know, do the people even like my content? Like, am I engaging anymore? How do you find yourself like getting out of that? It's
really hard. You just kind of have to remember why you started, as cliche that is. Remember why you started. People do watch you. People, even if it's like 5 comments you get, right? There's still people out there watching, and there's silent watchers. people that aren't going to engage with you, but they still love your content. They still like, you know, just because they don't share it, or like, say when people buy my merch, right? I expect people to like post about it. You know what I mean? And then I would get sad. I'd be like, oh my God, maybe they didn't like it. Like, oh my God, they didn't like what I sent them. Or that's like, is it not good? Like, I know it's good quality. But then I'm like, no, Veronica, like I don't post everything that I get. Like when I buy something, I don't post it on my story. So but I still love it. Mate, like I have to remember that not everyone is they don't have to engage with you to love you. And people are waiting. People message you and they're always like, you know, they notice when you're gone. That's what it is.
They notice when you're gone. And that's beautifully said. And it reminds me of this quote of, you know, don't underestimate the impact that, you know, your absence would have, you know, because sometimes we feel like, are we doing anything, you know?
Yeah.
And also, I love how you put yourself in the shoes of, you know, them. And it's like, okay, wait, if I think about it, do I post everything I wear? No. And because I don't post everything I wear, then that means that person or that brand or that content creator that I bought this from could be experiencing the same thing I am, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like this ability to empathize with kind of the experience.
Actually,
so going back
for you, backtracking to the burnout, right? And like as a creator, getting burnout, and my most performing video was created after I cried. I was crying, and because I was posting a series, right? And every single day, I post every single day, but I was really feeling really low that day. But I was like, oh my God, no! Like I post every single day. Like I can't not post. And I was crying. I went to the bathroom and I was like, that's it. Like, I just have to do it. I don't care. And I thought it was the worst video I've ever made in my life. But I was like, I have to post it. That's it. I have to post it. And I posted it. And surprisingly, it was actually a very, I don't know, it just went viral really quickly. And I had all these people with blue ticks, like back before you could buy it. Like following me, commenting. And I was like, oh my God. Like, bro, I thought that was the worst. Either people have low standards of humor or I'm just naturally gifted.
Okay, so it's crazy. You know what that reminds me of? Have you seen that visual where two people digging a tunnel and then the top guy is one dig away from striking gold? And then, you know, the bottom guy, you know, keeps going. Top visual, I think, is so striking because it's like a person can be like one video away or, you know, one call away or, you know, one, you know, knock on a door away from, you know, that video that you just described, you know?
I love that.
And yeah,
that's what
completely.
Never stop. Just keep going. Keep going. That's what I believe.
Yes.
You're going to make it one day. Just keep going.
Yeah, and the only way you can lose is if you quit. And that's a beautiful quote that I love to think about, like, you know, when I am, you know, feeling those low moments. So, for
instance, the comedy show that I just posted, the recap video, I was scared when I first did it. I love to do risky things because I'm like that gold digging video, whatever. It's like you're one step away. Like you don't know if you don't try.
Yep.
And I'm so big on that. I'm like, I will take any risk just to see what can come out of it. You never know. You know what I mean? And I was so scared. I was like, oh my gosh, what if no one actually comes to it? Like, what if everyone supports me online, but they don't show up in person? But I was like, you know what? At least it will be a good vlog, and I'll be like one of those, like, say, like, oh my God, like this girl, this TikToker with 400,000 followers, and not one person showed up. And I'm like, that will make a great sentimental video. That will go viral.
You have this incredible ability to, you know, be optimistic and see the positive side in every move that you make. And where does that optimism come from? Have you always been that way?
I think it comes from being spiritually connected to God, honestly.
Beautifully said.
Like, at the end of the day, this is not life or death. And like you're trying your best. And I think what's meant for you is going to come for you. You just have to put in the work for it as well. And I truly believe that. Like, there are people out there suffering a lot worse than if your video doesn't go viral. Like, relax. Like, you know what I mean? Just keep going. Yeah. Like, there are people that don't have houses. I have a house. I'm complaining about working from home. Like there are bigger problems. And
are your parents immigrants?
Oh, I never thought about that. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Okay. The reason I say is because my parents are, and, you know, to your point, I think about that a lot. Like, I grew up with like a silver spoon, you know, compared to them. And that helps me like really like zoom out of my problems and think about like, you know, what they experienced. And so I know a lot of, you know, immigrant children, you know, can think about like the things and challenges that their parents went through, and it kind of, you know, humbles them a bit. So that's why I was just wondering. But going back to the show you threw, even zooming before that, the first stand-up show that you ever did, what was your headspace like and what was that like? I imagine it was probably a little nerve-wracking.
Why did anyone invite me to do this? Like, are they normal? Because I'm not a comedian. I do comedy content, but I'm not a comedian. I'm not Kevin Hart. I can't just get up and start being funny. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have jokes. I'm a storyteller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, funnily enough, the first stand-up comedy that I was ever a part of was with TikTok. I did not say one joke. I actually just complained the whole time as to why I was there and like why they chose me. And the views, they were like telling me afterwards, they're like, bro, you actually received the most views. I don't know, out of all the people there, you received the most views. I was like, why? I did not say one thing that was like positive actually. It's scary. It's scary because when you're doing stand-up, you kind of, people are just staring at you in real life. Like, I can't edit it. If anyone sees me, like, I do my videos, like, I repeat the same sentence about 35 times. But when you're doing it in real life, you can't repeat. Like, there's no edit button. There's no restarting. You just have to roll with it. One take.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I recently just took improv just for fun, like self-development. And, you know, at the end of our improv show or class, we had a show for a showcase, and literally the house was packed, just like, you know, with friends and family of everyone in the class. And it was crazy. Like backstage, like nerves are like 10 out of 10. And then, you know, getting on stage, it's like crazy because like all of that just like washes away. And then you just like instinctually rely on like your prep and, you know, wanting to try your best to, you know, put the best version of yourself on stage. Is that kind of what you have experienced through a lot of your stand-up experience now?
My three.
three. That's a lot more than a lot of people.
First two stand-up was with TikTok, and I was scared, but I wasn't as scared because I'm like, these people are not even here to see me anyway. They're just here for whatever else is happening. I was just like a little set, you know what I mean? Whereas the last one, my actual first like sold out comedy show that I organized, that was so scary because I'm like, I have a duty to make these people laugh. Like, they literally paid to see me make them laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was scary. Backstage, us, like me and the other two creators, we were just pacing in circles. We're going in circles. I'm telling you, we are the most extroverted creators, right? And to see us all in silence, just walking in circles. Scary.
Yeah, it seems like that would have been a sight to behold. So yeah, like you said, you know, it's like, okay, so you enjoy making your storytelling content on social media. It fits in kind of the comedy realm. And then, you know, this whole new field of, you know, being a stand-up comedian. Now, you know, you had your first real show and you threw it. So having experienced that, is stand-up comedy something you want to continue pursuing? And I would love to hear kind of how you think about, you know, that comedy vertical, you know, as it relates to everything that Veronica wants in life.
Imagine I was like, no, I never want to do that again. I love it. I love it. And I am going to take it to another state now because it was like in demand, sold out. It G'd me up. It was kind of like a test for me, that first one, to see if I can do it, what I expect out of it. And now that I know, I've always wanted a show. I've always wanted a sold out show. I just didn't know what sold out. I hoped it was sold out. I've always wanted to do an event. I just didn't know about what. Like, was I going to educate people on how to become an influencer, how to do social media, or was I going to do like a comedy act? Like, I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew I was going to have a show of some sort. And
interesting.
I'm capable of doing it by myself, right? And that's a thought process like that I was going through before I did it. I'm like, okay, I want a show. I've always wanted a show. Like, this is my time to do it. But I really love oh my God, this is going to sound so cliche. Oh my God, but I love bringing people up with me. I love bringing up creators. I feel like there's not enough collaboration, especially in Australia. You guys in America are so big on it. Here in Australia, it's very much, I think they call it tall poppy syndrome. Everyone's kind of competing against each other rather than working together to bring each other up. And so many people ask me like, oh, like, you're not doing it by yourself, like, you're having all these creators, like, what, like, why, or whatever. And I'm like, because why not? It's fun, and it's a big collaboration. That's how I see it. I see you can only go so far by yourself. And why do it why do it alone? I wish Australians had the same mindset as Americans.
Yeah, beautifully said. And I love like the startup world. And there's a famous saying: it's you can go faster alone, but you can go further together. And also, to add on to that, collaboration, versus competition. And so for you, I think it's so interesting because it's something you wanted to see more in Australia, and you actually put, action behind, your wants, and you made that happen, and, had that collaboration, between those creators. And I think, Veronica, the beautiful thing about that is it's infectious, because then, those creators will then want to do the same thing and pass it on, for these other creators, that are coming up, once those people grow. And it's like this domino effect. So how do you think about community as it relates to the content that you create? Do you have a content creator community that helps you, feel, look kind of less alone in this journey? Do you feel like it's something that you're wanting to integrate more into your life? How is that going for you?
Well, ever since starting TikTok, like I've made a lot of friends from my For You page that live in the same area. Especially because my content when I first started was so niched to like Sydney. So
okay. I see.
Yeah, so all my followers and everyone that I was meeting were from Sydney. So we created we have this community here. We actually have a strong community. Like everyone knows everyone, and like you see a Middle Eastern creator and they automatically think that you're friends with all the other Middle Eastern creators. You know what I mean? Like they just pile you up in little groups, in little stereotyped groups. But the community that you think that we have over here, or like you would assume that we have over here, is not as strong as the community that you guys have over there. Especially, I'm telling you, in Australia, it's very different. I wish it wasn't like this, and it's something that I'm trying to change. Like me and another creator, we've organized. We do events for content creators to bring everyone together, because that's our goal, to bring people together. Just like I want to change the mindset of by yourself. Like do content by yourself. It's a big collaboration. That's how it's gonna. You need that community. You're stronger with a community. You need that backing. And also, why do it by yourself? Like, don't you want to have fun? That's what I wanted for my comedy show. I was like, I want to have fun. Like, I can do it alone. There's no problem. But it's like, I'm doing things that I wish people did for me back then when I was trying to have that breakthrough. You know what I mean? I wish that someone saw the potential in me and opened up that door, invited me to events, invited me to whatever, join their videos, collaborate here. Like, no one did that for me. So now that I'm in a position where I can give people the chance to, hey, I can see that you're trying to make it, like, come to this event with me, come network. I'm giving you the opportunity to come and show people what you can do. Like, I like to share the spotlight. Like, I have my own clout. I know everyone has their own clout. Like, I don't know. I like helping people do what I can't, what no one did for me.
I think that's beautiful. And why is it so important to you to give back in that way, in the way that you wish you were helped kind of when you were starting out? Because a lot of people forget, kind of how it felt to be starting out. And then now those are lessons that you never forgot.
Because where I am now means so much to me. I've been trying to get to this position for so many years, and I've put in so much work, and people have like bullied me along the way since I was in school trying to do Facebook videos, doing this. Like I've tried to get here, and it was such a hard journey. And I'm like, I see others who, even though it happened for them like overnight, or they didn't want this since they were younger, it just kind of like happened to, in the past 2 years of having TikTok, they're like, oh, you know what? Like, I want to create this lifestyle. I'm like, you know what? I see that you're trying to get somewhere. Let me just kind of help you open up that door and do what you want through it. As long as I've helped, I just like, I don't know. I like to give people an opportunity. That's what I like. I'm someone that takes risks. And I feel like I'm taking it on behalf of people. And it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to know that I have a platform and I'm using it not only to make other people like smile and laugh, but also to help other creators find that community. You know what I mean? Like show them what I don't know, bro. It's just something I enjoy doing.
It sounds like you do know, Veronica, and it boils down to, fulfillment. And I think that is the beautiful thing about content creation is there are like so many streams of fulfillment that we can get from what we make. So it's like, whether it's, creating content that's relatable, like you said, well, you get fulfillment from that, but then also like, fulfillment from, using your platform to, raise other people. I think it is meaningful work, and, I hope it doesn't go unappreciated and that people will see that from you.
I think you pass it on. People always help you, you help others.
Completely agree. So I was watching this interview with Hassan Minaj. Do you know who that is? He's like a comedian, a pretty big comedian.
No. If you're going to start naming me comedians, I don't know. I just watch myself.
No, you're good. You're good. So he's a pretty big comedian. He's had like, some specials on Netflix and things like that. So, quite up there. So he was talking in this interview, he was talking about his warm-up routine, before he does a show. And, essentially his warm-up routine, all of it is centered around getting out of his head and, into his body, as he says. And he has like all of these different things. And so I'm curious for you, after having finished your first show, did you have any sort of warm-up routine? And I know during those moments we can get so into our head.
Yeah.
And so what was that experience like for you?
To be honest, I was live on TikTok and I was checking my makeup. If I have a warm-up routine, I will stress out. I just need to go out and just do it. That's it.
Yeah.
I feel like it comes natural. And also, I've only ever done it 3 times. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing it right, if I'm doing it wrong. I have no idea. So unless someone tells me, like, maybe you should do this next time, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
No, it's beautiful you said you were on TikTok Live. So basically the whole lesson that Hassan was trying to impart about his routine is every step of his routine is in some way to like be in service towards something else. So like whether it's like thinking about, being in service of his greater purpose, or, being serviced by, being like friendly with the staff and like, the everyone backstage. And so for you, it's like this ability to be on TikTok Live is like a way you can get out of your own head, because then you're just engaging with other people. Like, hey, like I'm about to do this thing, guys. I'm so nervous, but I can't wait.
Oh, I wish that was us. To be honest, before the show, we had TikTok Live just there, okay, and we were just in silence, walking around in circles. Everyone was like just G'ing us up. They're like, "You got this, come on, it's all right, breathe." Like all the people in the comments were G'ing us up, but like when I say I was on TikTok Live, I wasn't talking. I was just breathing, walking in circles.
Okay,
I should get tips from that guy to tell me what I should do beforehand.
I'll send you that video. Okay, so Veronica, moving into a little bit of a different topic. Social media as a whole can kind of pressure us to present a curated version of ourselves, or a version of ourselves that we feel like the audience wants. But then if we present a version that the audience wants, then are we still making content that like we want? And so how have you kind of dealt with balancing what your audience wants, but also with like authenticity and, always thinking about, what you want and why you started creating content in the first place?
Yeah. The audience is going to want what you want, because essentially what you put out is well, for me, at least on my platform, it's who I am. Mm-hmm. So everything I do, my personality, everything, it's shown through my content. And people resonate with that. They see that you enjoy making it, and they're going to resonate with that energy. If they see that it's kind of forced or whatever, they're like, what is this? Like, what are you doing? In saying that though, it is hard because I like to do series of some sort. And like before I started doing my vlogs, like going to different venues and vlogging that, or like a new bar that's opened up, you know what I mean? I used to do like stereotypes of like the types of guys that wear Balenciaga, the types of guys that I just used to like roast guys, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw that in the beginning of your content.
I went through a phase of roasting guys because there were so many guys out there that were just roasting girls, and I was like, someone has to give it back to them, you know what I mean? And then I was like, but I love doing vlogs, like I love vlogging, you know what I mean? No one knows me through doing the roasting guys thing, like no one knows my life, and I want to show that. When I started posting vlogs, people were like, no, like go back to the other videos, like what are you doing, like this is not what we want to see. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, but this is what I want to do, like I love this. I'm like, I want to do this. And then I started to freak out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, people are not liking it. But then I'm like, no, they're just not used to it. You have to get them used to it. And this is what I tell everyone now. I'm like, don't niche yourself into this bubble of doing only one type of content, because then your audience are not going to resonate with the other stuff. You got to slowly bring it in and make them used to having different sides of you. People will be like, okay, Veronica, when they come to my page, that's the girl that does those vlogs, and she also does the Middle Eastern stereotypes, and she has her Arab mum character. Like, they know what to expect when they come to my page. But it is the scariest thing, introducing something new, because, yeah, as they said, they're like, what is this? We watch you because you do this, not because you do this. What are you doing with this? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I just said so much, but like nothing.
No, it definitely does make sense. And I think, to your advice, it's like, okay, you have your content that your audience knows you for, and then it's a matter of like slowly introducing, not overwhelming them, and completely changing your content, and like, hey, like, here's this video, and then here's 3 more of what you're used to. And then like, kind of keeping that cadence and getting them, kind of making an appetite, giving them an appetite for that type of content.
And also I want to be creating content for many, many years. So I want to create stuff that I actually enjoy doing, because if you don't enjoy doing it, like, it's just going to be forced, and I don't want to be forced to do something that I started because I love it, just because people at the end of the day, a few people, a few 100,000 whatever, are going to hate your content, but there's 100,000 trillion billion other people that are going to love it. So
completely agree. And so for you, one thing you mentioned is like, okay, not only in the content, when you think about new content, it's like risks, so you love, like, okay, like, let me try this stand-up, and let me try like this series, and let me try this type of content. And so what are some risks that you've taken in the past that you feel like have really paid dues, kind of when you look back, in hindsight, 2020?
I released merch when I hit 50,000 followers. Now, if you look at someone that has 50,000 followers, what do you mean release merch? Am I all right? But I did it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it, because I never even thought I would get to 10,000. Like, that's a freaking milestone. Like, when I first started, because it was so niche and in Sydney, and like, it was so scary, but it was like a risk that I took. And whether a lot of people hated it, a lot of people liked it, people spoke about it, engagement. So I was like, I'm going to do it. I love doing things that, like, the risky things is because it comes with engagement. Whether people hate it or they love it, they're going to engage with it. And if you don't do things like that, then you just become kind of fizzled out. Everyone's going to forget about you. You're not doing anything different. You're just like, okay, same old what she does. You got to spice that up. You know what I mean? Yeah,
this ability to constantly innovate. So how did that first merch drop do?
I did not know one thing about running a business at all. I just knew I wanted merch. So I had to learn everything. I was crying building a website, because I was like, bro, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't understand. Like, it's till now, like, I'm like, bro, like, now I'm my own boss. And I'm like, what is this mean? Like, do I have to pay myself superannuation and tax? And I don't understand. I don't, like, can I claim using this light right now? I don't understand.
Yeah, literally.
I don't know. And I'm learning, and it was scary, but I loved it. I love the process of it. Like, I learned so much, and I got better at it. Like, if you see my first launch release to what I release now, wow. Like, I'm sorry to anyone that copped my first merch. I am sorry, but it is 10 times better now.
And it's incredible to think about, right? Because do you still have any pieces of your first merch? The reason I ask is because, like, now you can kind of really reflect on how far it's come, and I think that before and after for, like, any content creator or anyone who builds or anyone who creates is like kind of the most beautiful contrast.
My first merch actually was #clout chaser. That was my jumper.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
And like it, I still have pieces from it because it's memory. It's memory from where I started to now, like where I brought myself. And I would not have been able to come out with what I have now unless I went through that first phase. But it's scary.
Agreed.
Because you're doing it in front of hundreds of thousands, 50,000 people for me. You're doing it in front of thousands of people, you know what I mean? Like if you stuff up, it's not like, I can just quickly change it. Like no one's even following me yet. Like, no, sis, everyone
sees
it.
Yeah. When I think about merch, being in the social media space, it can come with, unexpected collaborations or connections or, projects to work on. Have there been any of those that kind of stand out in your journey that like, you're like, oh my gosh, like this was amazing. Like who would have expected this?
I think working with TikTok, that is huge. When to be acknowledged by the platform and like to be able to be invited up on stage in front of hundreds of people, like talking, they streamed it live, like to be recognized as a creator is the most amazing feeling. Like it's finally like you've established yourself, and it's sick. Like the people, I'm meeting you right now, bro. You're in America. Like what is this? You know what I mean? You're creating connections from all around the world. People want to see more of you. Like come here, we want to see you do this, or we want to see you collaborate with this person. And it's like wow, like you're finally part of that community that like I've always dreamed of being a part of, and it's crazy the sort of collaborations that I get, like travel, like work and podcasts here, podcasts there, like come host this show, we want you to MC this event. It's like whoa, like wow, this is amazing. Like I love what I do, and I this is all I ever wanted, like to be in a job where I work hard. It's a lot of hard work, a shitload of hard work. But, bro, no one understands. They say you post a 1 minute video and they're like, so you got paid for that? And I'm like, that was like 3 weeks of work. You don't understand.
Yeah, they're like, that was so easy,
Yeah, literally. Like even with like working with massive brands that I never even, because I don't have a manager, so I kind of just manage myself. And to be able to do everything that I'm doing without a manager is crazy to me. I thought it was normal.
That is.
Other people were like to me, oh, like you don't have a manager? Like you did this all by yourself? I was like, yeah. Like why are you lazy? Just do it yourself. No. I'm joking. I wish I had a manager.
Well, because to your point, throughout your whole journey, you've really had to wear different hats, and you're still wearing those hats. You were Veronica, the web developer. You were Veronica, the the content creation manager. You were Veronica, the content creator. And from that, wearing those hats, is that something you still really enjoy? Because the reason I ask is when people start growing,
okay.
I
don't like doing all everything. No. You have to.
Completely agree. So the reason I say is because as people grow, they start to outsource the things that they don't like, or the things that kind of burn them out, so that they can then focus on the vertical that A, brings the most value, and B, brings in the most purpose and fulfillment. So how have you thought about like buying back your time, through outsourcing? Is that something that scares you? Because for a lot of content creators, especially when it comes to editing, they're like, oh my gosh, like I can't outsource this editing because I like it done in a special way, and it's so hard to find that. And so how do you feel about kind of that entire topic?
That is the scariest thing, because you're letting go of something that you built. And I am in no position right now, and I can't let go of my editing. That is one thing that obviously if I had an editor, I could be pumping it on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, I can't bring myself to get someone to edit it, because it's your narrative. How you're going to edit is your vision, your story that you're sharing. You know what I mean? Everyone can have the same raw clip and edit it in so many different ways to show a different story. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah. And I'm not ready to do that. Like I wanted to do podcasting for so long, which is something that I'm working on now. And I just wanted to learn how to monetize it. You know what I mean? I don't have extra time to do a podcast for volunteer work. You know what I mean? I already do TikTok voluntarily. Like, you know what I mean? Like I need to get paid for something. But like, it's something that I'm trying to learn right now. Where was I going? This podcasting. Yeah. So I've been asked by so many people to trial on their platforms, like for them to edit my podcast. Like I'll go into their studio, do what I have to do, and then they'll edit it. And I've done this twice so far with big podcasting platforms, right? And I didn't know what to expect. I've never let someone do my editing for me, but I was like, let me give it a go. Let's see. I wrote down exactly the structure of what I want. And when I received the edit afterwards, I was like, no, like absolutely big fat no. This is nothing. It's something that I can't even train someone to edit in your style. You have to find someone that just knows. You have to find someone that you click with and connect with. You can't train someone to edit the way you want, because that means it's just not their personality. They have to be like-minded to understand, oh yeah, Veronica would want that part in. Oh no, that's her, she'd want that. I don't know. That's the biggest thing. But in terms of like outsourcing stuff, I don't know how to do that. This is why a manager would be great. Like I don't know how to do that. I don't know where to even start with that. It's about growing your business. And I would love to have like a videographer. Like this is a dream of mine, to have a videographer come with me. I hire them and they come with me to all these events. They come with me to all like my travel vlogs, all this stuff, and they capture the content. But I'm like, I don't even know how to start with that. Like, how do you even hire someone?
You use your significant other first, and then from there you train them to be a videographer.
I think he's done with filming me.
Yeah, I completely agree. This idea of letting go of control is like so interesting. It's funny. I just got back from like a 2-week trip in Europe, and like one of the things before I left that I wanted to reflect on for myself is like, why do I struggle with like letting go of control, and I learned a lot, and so now I'm in the process of bringing on an editor as well. And so, to your point, it's like, you can't tell someone to look into your brain and grab, the edits from there and then, edit it, to that video, so kind of just what I've find helpful, through this process, just to let you know, is it's more so like giving trial runs for people. And then in those trial runs, you kind of pick their brain about, okay, so why did you edit this in this way? Like what story were you trying to tell? And then, from there, it's like, okay, so we're aligned on the story we want to tell, but let's kind of tweak on how we get there. And then, from there, they can kind of get used to your style a little bit. It was nice because I found my editor through kind of an agency, and through that agency, they put on like a whole, like, I guess, like quote unquote tryout. So it was literally like 5 editors, like all practicing on different clips and taking their spin. Yeah. And then, from there, it's like I chose the one that was like most aligned with like the style that I want. And then from there, trying to grow that person to, what would be most helpful for me. So that was just something that,
That's amazing. It is, because there's only so much you can do by yourself before like you don't have time to do, like I spend almost 8 hours a day doing admin. And it's like, if you shift that off to someone else, you could be spending 8 hours a day going out and filming. Like that's in a position that I'm at now. Like I do so much, like so much. And it's like, you're just cramming everything. Like my parents watch me in the house. They're like, bro, like stop running around. Like you're going to get white hairs really.
And also, so, just to impart to you a little bit of story, because I love, startups. And so one of the most famous startups obviously is Microsoft, right? And so, Bill Gates has this story that he said, like, when Microsoft was just like a team of like 4 people, quality, he said quality was like 150%, because he could be involved in every part of the process. He said, like, when it was like 8 people, quality was like 140%. He could still be involved in everything. And then like 16 people, 120%. But he said, like, as it grew, he couldn't put his hand in every pie. And because of that, quality went from like 150 to, maybe say like 90. But it's like, if that's the sacrifice it takes to grow to the size that we want, is kind of his words, then that was like a sacrifice that he was willing to make, And I mean, obviously, Microsoft obviously is doing quite well. So
that was very inspirational. As soon as we end this, I'm going to go and hire someone. Honestly, it's something to look into. Like it really is, like having a videographer or an editor, like that can take away something that you can be creating more of, you know what I mean? There's only so much you can be doing now by yourself. So that's that. Do you have a team?
So I have a part-time sales person, and then I'm in the process of hiring a full-time video editor. So 2 people in the race right now. So trying to narrow that down. And
you film everything yourself?
When I first started, it was just like friends just doing me favors. And then as I started to grow and like, get brand deals. And okay, so now I can actually start to give my camera person like a cut of that. Now I'm lucky because with my content, I can either self-film. So like when I was in Europe, I did some self-filming, or if I have someone, which is more convenient to be honest, then, they can help me. But it's always nice because I don't know about your loved ones and friends, but they're like always so willing,
Yeah.
And it's cool because this this concept that you're talking about of bringing people onto your journey. So like there's this like really big food and media company out of New York that I partnered with, and they just like had this new headquarters with like 8 test kitchens. And one of my best friends like loves cooking. He's a home chef. And I was like, dude, like, why don't you just come with me to that? I can just say like, you're my cameraman, and, you know, he'll get to check it out, you know? So it's just kind of cool to bring people onto that journey. So
that's the most amazing thing of what we do. We get invited to all these experiences, yes, and you get to bring along your family and your friends and people that, you know, would love it. And it's yes, very rewarding.
It is very rewarding. So Veronica, for you, you just knocked out that big hosting your own stand-up show project. So are there any projects in the pipeline for you? I would love to hear.
Funnily enough, an America show is in demand. And that's something that I have my ticket to America. Really? I was meant to go in COVID, but it couldn't. So now I have a ticket to America, and I need to somehow organize this show, whether it's in LA or New York. I don't understand anything about America and how to even start this. All I know is that the people from America that follow me want me to come there. And that's massive. That's my massive thing that I'm organizing. That's like a project. And I don't have a team, so I don't know. I don't know the first step of what I'm doing. I just know that I'm going.
Yeah. Kind of like I mentioned to you. So those 2 people that I know, one of them does shows out of Boston, and then the other one, Ahmed, he does shows globally, yeah, and he actually just started booking some shows in the US. I can reach out to them, you know, to see if they're interested in connecting. But if they are, would you be interested in connecting?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Thank you. Like it's something that it's on the books, and it's scary because I can organize everything from my end here because I know everything here. But it's like over there, I'm like, America's huge. Like,
yeah,
I don't even know. Wow. But yeah, next thing for me is shows. I want to start meeting everyone in person. Like, you have such a big following. It's like, I want to go out and meet the people that are making my platform what it is today. Like, you guys, like, they're following me for a reason. So I'm like, I want to be able to provide that comedy in real life.
Has there been an in-person experience that has been very memorable for you in terms of, you know, an audience member, or I'm not sure if you did Q&A or, you know, did pictures afterwards, but I think those things are so special because it's like, bro, you're the guy who's been commenting like on every video, yeah, like I love to meet you. Like
it's crazy how many people come up to me. Like, it's such a surreal experience. People always tell me, yes, like, do you get annoyed? I'm like, of course I don't get annoyed. Like you watch me, like, this is so exciting. Like, it's actually real. Like, whoa, you're the people that are commenting and liking. Like, thank you. Crazy how many people would tell me like they were sad and I made their day. Like, when they watch my videos, they laugh.
Yes.
And so many parents come up to me and they say like, oh my gosh, I relate to like your videos. I'm like, yeah, I know, because you're the same. But also, like, there's so many people, like, the most touching things are like, people actually cry in front of me, and that's crazy. I've had a few instances where people cry and they tell me like, you know, your content, like, it gets me out of situations that I'm in, and like, it makes me feel happy. Like, I'm going through things at home or things at work. One lady told me she's going through a divorce, and she's like, I just watch your videos and they just make me feel happy. And like, it's a disconnection from what's going on in her reality. And I'm like, whoa, like, whenever I feel that I'm down and I can't film and stuff like that, I need to remember that there's people out there that they're waiting. I'm making them feel better about themselves and like making their days. And just because I don't see it, like, I don't see this happening. I don't get messages every day saying like, I just had a separation. Thank you, girl, for making me laugh. I don't see that. But people are waiting for the next thing to put a smile on their face. And that's the push. I can't believe people cry in front of me. That's crazy. Like,
yes,
it's really, it's an experience. Yeah.
You're talking about something that I'm like super, super passionate about, which is, you know, purpose. And, you know, when it comes to purpose, there's this quote I always go back to, which is, the absence of your best hurts everything and everyone. And, you know, for you, what that looks like is you're like, okay, if there's a day where I'm feeling low and I don't want to film something, well, let's say I'm not being the best version of myself. And because I'm not being the best version of myself, then I won't be able to help those people that are waiting, you know, who, you know, need that type of content in that moment because they're going through something, you know? And I think when we can be in service to others with the actions that we take, that's when I think life can get, the most special maybe, it's ever been. At least that's kind of what I've been experiencing in the past 2 years. So I love that you said that. So Veronica, as we're wrapping up, we like to end with a question. What would you like people to know about you? And, the reason we like to ask this question is because as content creators, our audience can sometimes, put us on a pedestal of like, wait, I could, never be like that.
Yeah.
Or they put such separation between not thinking we're human, but it's like, hey, like we actually struggle with the same exact things that, you do, know? So this is kind of an opportunity to help bridge that gap.
I wish that people knew that I'm just like you. It's just, we're just people that have a passion, doing what we love to do. And one thing I hate is being put on a pedestal. I hate it. I hate that VIP treatment. We are all the same. We're all the same. We're on this earth fulfilling our purpose. And that is it. Like I don't know. Like I'm the same as I am online. A mess. Like, no need for the pedestal and like idolizing. And it's just, we're all human at the end of the day trying our best. Please follow me.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Beautifully said, and I completely agree. In a way, we're all our own mess, and it's just, there's no reason to compare messes to one another. So, Veronica, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, and I really enjoyed the chat.
Thank you. I love this. I love meeting you. This was it was so random and unexpected. I love it.